Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam.
Hello friends, this is Dr. Neelam Panchal from Gujarat University and welcome you all in this session on emerging opportunities in business, franchising, outsourcing and e-commerce. Friends, it is an era of e-commerce, it's an era of business, it's an era of entrepreneurship and it's a world whereby every now and then there is emerging opportunities. Let me introduce you to the topic. Friends, business is any economic activity involving organized efforts and activities of individuals to produce and sell goods and services for profit. It is all about making one's own living or making money by producing or selling products. It can range from a small tea stall to a big manufacturing company. In country like India, where there is a huge population who all can't be absorbed in government sector, business is the most viable means to earn for livelihood. In order to enter into a business, one needs to understand the opportunities in the market for making it successful. Moreover, one needs to understand the various ways or formats through which they can tap the untapped market or business. Friends, for a business to excel, one just needs to grab the opportunity that is there in the market from time to time. This session would focus upon emerging opportunities in business in India. Moreover, it would focus on the three business formats which are growing at exponential rate: franchising, outsourcing and e-commerce. Let me explain you the objectives of the session. The objectives of the session are to make you understand emerging opportunities in business, to make you explain franchising, advantages and disadvantages of franchising. Concept and issues of outsourcing would be explained in this session. Another objective is to make you understand about e-commerce, advantages and disadvantages, and also the growing business opportunities in India. Let us try to understand what we mean by emerging opportunities in business. Friends, India is one of the emerging and fast developing economies in the world. India is having tremendous business opportunities because of the reasons like huge population with fast increasing disposable income, availability of skilled manpower, strategic location of its close proximity to markets in the Southeast Asia and Middle East, cheap labor force in comparison with various Western and American countries, good number of English spoken people, initiatives of government to promote investment in India and within the country in various sectors. Some of the initiatives include Make in India, Startup India, Digital India, Skill India and Smart Cities helps to improve investments in India. Some of the sectors in India in which there is tremendous growth for business are food and beverages, education, healthcare, infrastructure, consultancy, information technology, tourism and hospitality, banking and insurance, fast-moving consumer goods, media and entertainment, hotel industry, BPO, e-commerce and so on. There are different ways or modes through which the untapped markets in our country can be tapped. Out of these, three most common business formats are franchising, outsourcing, and e-commerce. Friends, let's understand one after the other. Let's understand first franchising, the concept and definition. Globalization and market liberalization has fueled brand awareness among the Indian masses, making the importance of foreign brands to Indian shores an attractive business opportunity for local businessmen. Foreign brands such as McDonald's and Pizza Hut have studied India's tastes and needs and customized their products and menus to suit local preferences and simply applied a method for expanding a business and distributing goods and services through a franchising relationship. A franchisee is a business which markets a product or services developed by another party. The owner is known as the franchisor, and the party which is operating the business of the franchisor is the franchisee. Franchising is the system of operating a franchisee normally bound by a legal agreement between a franchisor and franchisee. It is one of the very important marketing strategy for market and business expansion. The International Franchisee Association, that is IFA of America, has defined business format franchising as a franchisee operation is a contractual relationship between the franchisor and franchisee, in which the franchisor offers or is obligated to maintain a continuing interest in the business of the franchisee in such areas as know-how and training, wherein the franchisee operates under a common trade name, format or procedure owned or controlled by the franchisor, and in which the franchisee has or will make a substantial capital investment in his business from his own resources, said by Mendelssohn in 1979. Friends, under these agreements, the franchisor authorizes to sell their products, goods and services, and also to use their trademark and brand name. It even provides training and technical assistances in some situations. In return, the franchisee pays fee or royalty to the franchisor and even have share in the revenue or profits. The franchisor maintains a considerable degree of control over the operations and processes used by the franchisee. The agreement includes detailed terms and conditions applicable to the legal entity between the two parties. The franchisor helps with the branding and marketing of products and services to the franchisee, and the franchisor also typically ensures that branches do not cannibalize each other's revenues. Some of the common examples are Domino's, McDonald's, Starbucks, KFC, Pizza Hut, Subway, Baskin-Robbins, and so on, which are running successfully in India. Friends, franchising has several advantages as well as disadvantages as a mode of entry in the market. Let's understand it one by other. Let's start with the advantages. First is ease of startup. Franchising makes the task of getting started easier because the franchisee gets a business format already market tested and found to work. Thus, it's very easy to start a business under franchising form of business. Second is reduction in business failure possibilities. Friends, it reduces chances for failure. Here, what is significant to mention is that fewer than 10% of all franchisees fail. In dramatic contrast with these is the fact that 2 out of every 5 entrepreneurs who start on their own fail within 3 years and 8 out of every 10 fail within 10 years. Thirdly, it brings recognition. A well-established franchisee brings with a very important advantage of recognition. Many new businesses experiences lean months or years after startup. Obviously, the longer the period the business must experience it, the greater the chances of failure. Next is higher success rate. Friends, franchises stand a much better chance of success than people who start independent businesses. Today, Raymond's, being the world's largest integrated producers of suiting fabrics, provides franchisee opportunities. An entrepreneur, by becoming a franchisee of Raymond's, will be able to sell the suiting fabrics at ease due to the well-established name. Next is reduction in costs. Franchisor can afford to buy in bulk and pass the savings to franchises. Inventory and supplies will cost less than running an independent company. For example, running a courier company or own could be a difficult task. But by being a franchisee of Overnight Express, the franchisee can save money. Next is profits. Friends, for any business, the ultimate goal is profit. A franchisee business can be immensely profitable. The profitability for a small business to succeed is high as they have the backup and support of well-established big business enterprises. Now, let's look into the disadvantages of franchising. First is limited creativity and innovation. Yes, this is very important, friends. Unlike entrepreneurs who start their own business, the franchisee find no room or scope for enjoying their creativity, especially in the case of pure franchising. They are not allowed to do any changes as the way they like because they have to maintain the standards that are designed and that are given by their heads. Secondly, imposition of restrictions and control. A number of restrictions are also imposed upon the franchises. Restrictions may relate to remain confined to product line or a particular geographical location only or a particular size, particular packaging and whatsoever. Some franchisors exert a greater degree of control. No decision can be taken by the franchisees without consulting the franchisor. And that is why sometimes it becomes very difficult for the people to overcome with those challenges. Thirdly, higher costs. Friends, beside the original franchisee fees, royalties, a percentage of franchisee's business revenue will have to be paid to the franchisor each month, and that may lead to the higher cost to the franchisee. Next is, it is expensive. Buying a well-known franchising is very expensive. Entrepreneurs must have the ability to arrange the necessary finance, but still it becomes very expensive when you have to maintain all the standards, when you have to give and spend lot of amount for maintaining the standards by the franchisor. Next is time consuming. Friends, lot of time is required while selecting a franchisee, because if you select a wrong franchisee, then your business may fail. A complete and thorough research is required to select the right franchisee and to determine whether it would work for the business or not. Next is disputes. Friends, this is very common and very important. Franchisee is a complex procedure and disputes may arise between the franchisee and franchisor. So, looking into this aspect, we can see that there are some pros and cons, but in nutshell, if you look into in India, there are so many businesses with the help of the franchising they have come across. Like say for example, McDonald's. If you try to look into the example of McDonald's, they are working in more than 150 countries. Imagine that you are a business person. Imagine that you are outsourcing and you are trying to create a franchising across these many countries. How would you be able to run the business? The important thing is, because of this franchising form of business, it has long lasted and it is one of the very well known brand across the nations. So, franchising has its own beauty, it has its own advantages and disadvantages, and businesses nowadays has succeeded because of this form of organization. Friends, now let us understand one more other different way, which is outsourcing. Outsourcing is the business practice of hiring a party outside a company to perform services and create goods that are generally performed by the company's own employees. It is a practice usually undertaken by companies as a measure to cut costs, mainly labor, overheads, equipment and technology, and reduces workload. It also minimizes risk by sharing with the external parties, thereby building meaningful partnerships. It also improves flexibility and efficiency by delegating responsibilities that are complex and difficult to manage to external companies. Friends, outsourcing also enables a company to save on investing in the latest technology, software and infrastructure, since the outsourcing partner handles the entire infrastructure. It can range from wide ranges of jobs or services like content writing, marketing, accounting, human resource management, research and design. Many companies nowadays are going and adopting outsourcing as a means to focus on the core aspects of the business, spinning off the less critical operations to the third party organizations. Because many times what happens is, many times companies are not able to manage all the tasks, and that is why the owners, the entrepreneurs think that why not to outsource, why not to take an advantage of the specialized people and thereby reducing the cost and focus upon certain important aspects that entrepreneur can do their own way. It also involves transferring of employees and assets from one firm to another. The example of outsourcing can be a manufacturer of laptops outsource and buy internal components for manufacturing laptop to reduce the production cost. So somewhere you are not producing the components of the laptop as a whole, you are outsourcing some of the screws, some of whatever material required from different sources, and then you are combining and producing the laptop. Another example we can cite here is a company may outsource its server maintenance and technical repairing to an IT firm, because every now and then in all the areas it is not necessary that you have mastery, and that is why somewhere the firms are taking advantage of those masters or those specialized people which lead a firm to success. But friends, there are certain issues with the outsourcing. Let's understand several issues and problems associated with outsourcing for a company. Some of them includes loss of management control and inability to control the operations of activities that are outsourced to an external party. Secondly, compromise in the quality standard. Since the outsourcing companies are normally driven by profit motives rather than maintaining quality standards, sometimes owners has to compromise with the quality, because every time it's not necessary that whatever you are required in exact quality, in exact quantity, that is available. Thirdly, risk of losing sensitive and confidential data by outsourcing the activities or process to external parties. Many times it's very risky. You never know whatever data you have outsourced or you have taken a help from the outsourcing agency, you never know how it can be utilized by the other party. Fourthly, the outsourced company may impose hidden costs by creating lengthy contractual agreements. Then, a lack of communication or miscommunication between the company and outsourced company may lead to the delay of the project or activities. That is also one of the problems. Friends, another point is an outsourced party may be catering to the needs of multiple organizations at a time. In such situations, the party may lack complete focus on an individual's organization's tasks that ultimately affect the customers. So, Looking into this scenario, nowadays outsourcing is the most common parameter and the most common way in the emerging business opportunities in India. Due to outsourcing, nowadays the ease of operation is there, and so entrepreneurs are going for it, though there are so much pros and cons for the outsourcing. Now let's understand another important source and another important component, that is e-commerce. Let's understand what is e-commerce. Friends, with the emergence of internet and the World Wide Web, new methods of carrying out business transactions began to grow at a much faster pace. As a result, e-commerce emerged as a very important application of the World Wide Web. E-commerce is basically an activity of buying and selling of products electronically using internet. It relies on technologies such as mobile commerce, electronic fund transfer, supply chain management, internet marketing, online transaction processing, electronic data interchange, inventory management systems, and automated data collection systems, and so on. Some of the common e-commerce application examples are electronic banking, electronic publishing, e-filing of tax return, online retail stores, online ticket booking sites, online shopping sites. Friends, e-commerce business may employ different advantages and different characteristics. Online shopping, for example, for retail sales directly to consumers using application and websites. Participating in online marketplaces. Business to business, that is B2B, buying and selling. Gathering and using demographic data through web contacts and social media. B2B, that is business to business electronic data interchange. Marketing to prospective and established customers by email or fax, for example, with newsletters. Engaging in online platform for launching new products and services. Online financial exchanges for currency exchanges or trading purposes. Let's look into basically the advantages of e-commerce. Friends, e-commerce leads to buying or selling a variety of goods and services from one's home or business online. So, it can be said anytime, anywhere transaction with the lowest cost of goods or services. E-commerce leads to a global reach, that is, wherever you are, you can connect, you can purchase, you can buy, you can sell the goods and services. The cost reduction in order processing is possible because of e-commerce. Another advantage is easy mode of payment. Next is supply chain management is faster, simple and cheaper using e-commerce. Friends, we can order from various vendors and monitor supplies. Production schedule and inventory of an organization can be inspected by cooperating supplier who can in turn schedule their work. Now, let's understand disadvantages of e-commerce. EDI is expensive for small businesses. Vulnerability to internet hackers and viruses. Privacy may be compromised. Now, that is very important issue that has come up in the case of e-commerce. Friends, there are various types of e-commerce. Let's understand it. Generally, when people think of e-commerce, they think of purchase of goods and services by the use of internet. However, there is more specific way to refer to the type of online transactions by means of mentioning which e-commerce category the transfer falls under. There are 6 basic types of e-commerce, which includes B2B, that is business to business. Now, B2B e-commerce refers to all electronic transactions of goods and sales that are conducted between the two companies. These type of e-commerce typically explains the relationship between the producers of a product and the wholesalers who advertise the product for purchase to consumers. Sometimes this allows wholesalers to stay ahead of their competition. Second is B2C, that is business to customer. B2C e-commerce basically deals with electronic business relationship between businesses and consumers. Many people enjoy this avenue of e-commerce because it allows them to shop around for the best prices, read customer reviews, and often find different products that they would not otherwise be exposed in the retail world. These type of e-commerce also enables businesses to develop a more personalized relationship with their customers. Third is C2C, that is consumer to consumer. Now these type of e-commerce encompasses all electronic transactions that take place between consumers. Generally, these transactions are provided by online platforms such as PayPal, but often are conducted through the use of social media networks like Facebook, LinkedIn Marketplace and websites. So friends, now let me conclude the session. In this discussion, we have understood the emerging business opportunities in our country. If you look into here and there are a lot of business opportunities are there in India. Different forms, different ways in which entrepreneurs are trying to find out different ways through which you are able to generate more and more business. We have understood in this session various sectors in which there are various opportunities for someone to enter into the business. We have also tried to understand three common business formats that are used nowadays so commonly, which includes franchising, outsourcing and e-commerce. We have learned that franchising is an agreement through which a company uses a successful business model of another company, and in return they pay royalty or fee to the parent company. Somewhere nowadays, franchising has been seen as a most widely used common format. The other format we have seen is outsourcing, which is also the emerging business practice in which the activity of a company is performed by another company, and somewhere it offers various benefits including cutting cost, reducing risk and enabling company to focus on core areas. But in some cases, it may create problems for the company also in terms of data leak and affecting the image of the company. Depending upon whatever is the pros and cons, organizations are using this format very widely. And another format we have seen, e-commerce, which is the fastest growing business format through which products are delivered at doorstep at much reduced price. There are four types of e-commerce we have seen, that is B2B, B2C, C2B and C2C. I hope you are clear with the emerging concepts and business opportunities in India. Other than this also, there are various formats that are widely used by so many business opportunities are there. I hope you liked the session. For more details and if there are any questions,